Good evening, everyone. I know hopefully there's a bunch of people watching this stream live because this is a very special charity event at the Strange Realms. My name is Sam Smith. I'll be running this game tonight here at the Strange Realms. I've got some really awesome players, and we're going to be partaking in a one-shot called The Letter. Hopefully you stick around and watch the entire thing and let everybody know. The more people that tune in, it helps the store out. But more importantly, today's not just about the store, it's about a charity that we're playing for tonight. And the charity is called the Trevor Project. It's the world's largest suicide prevention and crisis intervention organization for LGBTQ young people. The organization works to save lives by providing support through free and confidential suicide prevention and crisis intervention programs on platforms where young people spend most of their time. Like a 24/7 phone line, there's chat, there'll be text, and soon they'll integrate their assistance into social media platforms. There'll be a link on the stream. Let's give a little. We all know people, how tough it is for people, especially in that community that want to come out, especially young men and women. So having an organization like the Trevor Project is very important. So reach down deep into your pockets and give a little. It would mean a lot. Also support the store when you can. As you know, COVID is very difficult for everyone to come out and try to experience the store. So, at times like this, there's ways you can support the store, like watching the streams and reaching out. Also, you can do ordering online and stuff like that. So you just contact the Strange Realms as well. So before we start the adventure, what I'd like to do is we're going to go around this table. So you're going to meet the great players who are going to be partaking in this campaign, this adventure called The Letter. So with that said, introduce yourself, who you're playing, and give us a little background.
Yeah. Hi guys, my name is Kat. I will be playing Scamp today, as I've been a street rat of the docks ever since I left the orphanage. I make my way by Jimmy and Locks, Nick and Shinies, and dodging patrols.
I'll just to give a quick background, they all have little particular backgrounds, but in this campaign, at young ages, they were all orphans in an orphanage, which we'll talk about. So, sir.
My name is Jared. I'm going to be playing Yorn, a human fighter. My plan is to attack first, think later.
Okay then. I like that. Sir.
My name is Avis. I will be playing Thalia Northwind, Holy Servant of the Allfather and Rider to Valhalla.
Oh, I love it. Sir.
Awesome. My name is Jordan. I am going to be playing a character named Duke. He is a sorcerer. After his departure from where he came from and grew up, he headed to the city, started off poor and grew himself back, finding himself through magic and experiences throughout.
Last but not least.
And I'm Ryan. I'm going to be playing Argalius, who is a wizard. After leaving the orphanage, he delved into study. Any piece of paper with writing on it that he could get his hands on, he read, and has committed most of it to memory and spends his days as a researcher.
Okay. We'll have different pauses throughout this adventure because I have to set up different scenarios, different maps, and so forth. So in between streams, go up and grab yourself something to drink, and if you can leave it on, that'd be great, especially for us because we can use the views and stuff like that. So with that said, I'd like to get started with The Letter. It is believed that when we die, our souls enter the afterlife. But when we don't get a proper burial, our souls are left to wander this realm for all eternity. And when a lost soul can never enter the afterlife, it becomes a conduit for something darker, something malevolent, something purely evil. It is a cold winter night within the peaceful town of Elmwood. Our story begins, like most, within a small tavern called the Green Dragon Inn. Now I'm going to add some ambiance and turn some torches on. Should have had done earlier. I apologize. Because this is a cold campaign. Can you slide that in? Can you do this one? Just slide it out. And turn the on switch. There you go. Alright, don't worry about it. Just put it back in. There it is. One of the things are. Okay. So we start out in the Green Dragon Inn. This tavern is somewhat busy for this time of day, or this time of evening, because most of the patrons that are gathering, they're discussing the holidays, bragging about hunting trips, debating whether they're going to pay, or who's going to pay the next round, and so forth. Everyone seems to be having a great time at this tavern, but there is one mysterious person sitting by a fireplace with a hood, and this person appears out of place. Two men at the bar, the tavern, are having drinks. One of them, a large burly man, takes this wooden mug with ale froth dripping down the side. He takes a big gulp, staring at the stranger sitting by this fireplace. The stranger is wearing a hood and appears to be reading a very strange-looking letter. The man at the bar leans over to his friend, and he says, "You know what I hate the most? I hate strangers that are bloody unsociable. And what I hate even more is when they hog all the hate in this godforsaken tavern." His friend doesn't respond except for nodding his head, as a drunk would. The man calls out to the hooded stranger, but yet gets no response, and this frustrates the man. Suddenly, the sounds of screeching chairs echo throughout this tavern as this drunk man and his friend get up and they stagger a little bit, looking angrily at this mysterious hooded person by the fireplace. They walk over, and the man with his mug says in a rude voice, "Oi! Are you deaf or bloody rude? I'm speaking to you!" But the hooded stranger stays calm and does not respond. The other bar patrons all look around at each other, for they know trouble is brewing. They stop, and they all look at each other, and they watch these two ruffians approach this person. So what I'm going to do now is, I'm going to do nothing right now because I don't have my pieces on me. It's okay. So they approach the hooded man, or the hooded woman, or whoever this is going to be. And they look down at the person. "Aye! Are you deaf? We're talking to you!" The patrons in the Green Tavern all start getting nervous, for they know something is about to go down. But the person with the hood remains calm and peaceful. But at this moment, one of the men reaches over to the hooded person and grabs the hood. "Bloody hell! I'm speaking to you!" And he pulls back the hood, exposing the individual. Yorn, would you please describe what your character looks like?
Yorn is a bit of a younger man. He is a little bit battle tested though. He's out adventuring a lot. Scar underneath his left eye. Still no explanation as to why that's ever happened. He's never talked about it. And he's bald-headed.
So when Yarn stands up and looks at these two drunk men, the drunk men are a little startled as they watch this being in front of them. They start trembling because they're concerned, and they look at each other. Now, Yorn, you actually came to the Green Dragon Tavern because you received several months ago a mysterious letter. And all the letter said was to be at this town at this date and this night. And it had a symbol of your orphanage called the House of Hope. Now, the House of Hope was an orphanage that you shared with many other young orphans a decade ago. It was run by Lord Arthur Hartman. He was the kindest of men, an older man. Even though you weren't his son, or any of those children at the orphan were his children, he treated you like you were his own. Lord Arthur Hartman's love, kind generosity, and his teaching has made you, Yorn, and every other kid at that orphanage the persons they are today. To you, Arthur was the closest thing to a father. And you think about the kindness of this man, the stranger who took you in, it actually brings tears to your eyes. But in that moment of reminiscing, snaps as one of the drunken men stands closer to you. "I'm speaking to you! What's your goddamn name?" he says, spittles hitting you in the face.
I have no time for your insolence. Leave me be.
Give me an intimidation roll, please.
No. That's not gonna do it.
He rolls a 5. With a 5, the man that he was trying to intimidate takes the mug and shatters the wooden mug, holding a sharp handle of wood, and looks at him. "I'm gonna show you respect. This is how we do things in Elmwood, son." But at that very moment, the tavern doors of the inn burst open. Everyone stops and turns around as two hooded figures come in from the cold. Thalia and Duke, please describe your characters, how you look.
Duke, wearing a long black fur around the collar to prevent from the cold from getting at him. Traveled long, tired look in his face, and hearing the commotion even over the storm outside and the wind, knew that possibly it could be one of his long, not forgotten siblings from the orphanage possibly that are here to meet here. Considering he's already bumped into one, it assumes that the others must be coming as well. Right now, appearance-wise, he's got somewhat medium long black hair. Very human, no different distinct features. He's got some scars from the city from being poor and building his way up and his knowledge up from all the thievery and shortcomings that he accidentally had to learn from his mistakes. And he walks in.
Okay, and describe what you look like as you stand there at the tavern doors.
Thalia wears a chainmail hauberk that has been rigorously cleaned and maintained, which she displays almost proudly with the symbols of her order. Appearance-wise, she is 5'10" with shoulder-length brown hair. Her face has a little bit of dirt and dried blood on it from her previous adventures, but she seems to not mind.
Okay, so you both actually, like Yorn, came to this tavern because months ago you received a mysterious letter with the symbol of your orphanage, the House of Hope. You were curious. Could this be your former headmaster, Arthur Hartman, or a fellow foster sibling? Well, at this moment, you see two nasty-looking drunks staring down an individual that looks very familiar to both of you. So you guys make history checks, please. History rolls.
Flat 10.
Okay.
6.
And 6 is what you need. You both immediately recognize Yorn as a sibling foster child from the House of Hope. And Yorn, you look across and you instinctively recognize them, your foster brothers as well. You guys all make contact. The two drunks that are between both of you, because you guys are at the front door and you're by the fireplace, they don't know what to do as their eyes are going back and forth. Are you guys going to say anything?
Yep. Gentlemen, hold up now. What is all this fuss about? First and foremost, if you want to take it, let's take it outside in the cold. Don't ruin the heat in here. By the way, Yorn, I see that you have that streak still in you, apparently, causing trouble without even trying. You two, how about I buy you a drink to shut you up for a while and let us enjoy the warmth a little bit?
Yorn, my old friend, she comes up and wraps her arms around you with the biggest bear hug she can.
As affectionate as ever, I see.
And as you embrace, the two men are looking at you, contemplating if they're going to take up your offer for a drink. Let's make a persuasion roll.
Persuasion. Oh, 19.
Ooh, okay, well. And at that very moment, we skip outside from the tavern and we go to the streets of Elmwood, which are quiet, as snow gently falls in the evening sky. Elmwood constables use flint extenders to light lanterns from street posts. The falling flurries are accumulating in the snow in the street, and they give a nice soft glow throughout this town. But walking in the snow in the middle of the street, all bundled up, are two mysterious figures. They walk down, they look about left and right, and one of them holds a mysterious folded letter. They stop in their tracks, and the one with the letter turns to the other and says, "The Green Dragon." Argolius and Scamp, describe what you guys look like.
Scamp has long, unkempt red hair, kind of shaggy in a ponytail, wearing a brown leather jerkin covered by a dark cloak. One bracer almost covers a tattoo of the criminal ring she ran all the doors with.
Okay.
And Argalius is a little bit older, but has salt and pepper hair, long beard, is wearing a pretty colorless drab gray cloak and hat, and walks with a walking stick.
Okay. As you approach the town, go deeper into the town, something catches your attention. As the snow softly covers the cobblestone streets, you see two very young children huddled together in front of a tavern with a faded green sign of a dragon. Both these two children, it's a young girl with black hair, very thin, and a small little boy, probably about 5 years of age, red hair, holding a really weird looking rag doll. Both of them are shaking, and they both make eye contact with both of you.
I look over at Scout. Scout, does that remind you of anything?
All too familiar.
It's way too cold for these kids to be out here. So as I approach the children, I say, "What are you guys doing outside? Why are it too cold out here?"
The little boy immediately looks at you and runs behind this girl. He sort of peeks back out at you with curiosity, holding his little doll. She looks up at you, and she's about maybe 9 or 10 years old. She holds out her hand. "We just need some help, sir. Please. Nobody's helping us." And her hand is out, and she's shaking.
I'm gonna reach into my pocket and pick up 2 silver pieces and hand her some silver.
She takes the silver pieces. She looks at you as if you were a hero. The little boy sort of looks over at you, and he actually produces a smile through his freckled face, and he goes back hiding behind his little sister.
I slowly reach in my pack and grab some rations and hand it out, not trying to scare the boy. It's like, that's what a smile's worth, love.
The little boy looks at his sister for approval. She looks down at him with a grin and she smiles. He sort of walks over to you. He glances over to you first, then looks back at you, and he reaches up with his tiny fingers and he grabs it. Quickly going behind his little sister, they both smile. At that moment, the front doors of the tavern fly open. You see 2 men come tumbling out of the snow, and they get up. They're staggering and drunk, and they're cursing as they look back at the tavern. "Ah!" And they go walking off into the snow, into the distance. But immediately you see the boy and the girl, they're gone. They probably got scared off. So, what would you guys like to do?
I think it's the place. Or if it's not, we gotta stop in here.
Sure seems like a tavern to me. Let's go in.
Okay. Let's put you guys inside also, please.
Any particular place you want to be?
There's the door.
Okay, once you two enter this tavern, you immediately see a barkeeper with a broom cleaning up the place, some overturned chairs, and you see 3 familiar-looking subjects helping out, lifting up tables and lifting up chairs as well. And they seem like they probably just got into some type of altercation, but you see absolutely no marks on them whatsoever. You two make history rolls, please.
9.
You guys make history rolls, please. You don't really recognize them, but there's something about them that catches your attention.
11.
You 3 immediately recognize them. It's been about 10, 15 years since you've all seen each other because you're all adults. Lord Hartman raised you guys all before the orphanage closed down, and you all went about your way. But now, you 3 recognize them.
Pulling the table up, hearing the doors open immediately, I recognize that curly red hair from anywhere and that other figure from anywhere as well. Years have done both of you somewhat justice, it seems.
And now you guys recognize your old siblings from the orphanage.
So what? Is that Duke? And I run forward and give him a big old bear hug.
I see you 2 have already gotten into some trouble this evening.
You mean 3.
Well, 3. Well, I see Bailey there, but she never does anything wrong. We all know that.
She started it.
At that moment, the bartender says, "This is really nice that you're all reuniting with one each other, but in about another 10 minutes, I have to close. So if you have business to discuss, now's the time to do it." And he turns with his broom and he goes back behind the counter at the bar and he starts messing with the equipment behind the bar.
It's what we gotta have around to celebrate. Let's go get one.
See how fast you can get drunk in 10 minutes, or, mean, the goal should sober us up the minute we hit it.
Yes,
We'll
yes,
stay
we
warm
need
somehow.
we need reunions. Now go over to the bartender.
Okay.
I shall sustain from alcohol, thank you.
Yours with a class pet.
During the conversation, the doors open up. More flurries come into the tavern. As you all turn around, you see two young children standing at the doorway. Both look like peasants. You two recognize them immediately. It's a young girl, about 10 years old, really skinny, with long black hair, big doe eyes, and a little boy with freckles and red curly hair. Both are wearing rags and they're bundled up as they stand looking at everyone in the tavern. The bartender immediately jumps up. Oi! We don't want any little rugrats in here! I'm not about to lose my license! I've got a family to take care of! Shoo! Shoo! He says. The kids look sad, defeated, and start turning and going outside.
I say, oi! It's alright, they're with us. They're nephews.
Make a persuasion roll.
Yep. 18.
The bartender looks to you. Listen, my love, I would love to have kids here. I have children of my own, but if the constables find out I allow children in this establishment, I'll lose my license.
What about he says, what is a gold to loosen your memory?
He looks at it, his eyes get pretty wide. Make a persuasion roll again.
7.
Yorn, you're passive. While this is going on, you notice the two kids looking defeated. They actually walked outside and the door is slowly closed quietly. The rest of you is standing around. The barkeep looks at your coin and he says, the kids left already. It is what it is. I have to close the tavern.
Alright. Can I put it towards a round then?
He looks at the coin and goes, we're closing.
Understood.
And strangers should be careful around these parts. As you can see, the locals aren't that friendly to your kind.
It's a familiar feeling.
It is a familiar. So I need to be closing my tavern. If you all would please leave. He holds his hands out.
Well, that's our invitation out. We've already caused a little too much excitement near closing. Time to go.
Yorn is the first to
Agreed.
stand and leave.
Oh, okay. Very good. You're leaving too?
Yes.
Bundle the coat around and get out.
Okay. Alright, so now you guys step outside. Now the cold air rushes towards you guys once you open the door. It's still snowing outside as snow continues to fall. But there's soft whimpering that draws your attention towards the pair of children that you met earlier. And they seem to be standing under one of the lantern posts. And the streets are actually lifeless now. No one else is out. The moon is shining up ahead, making all the snow glow. But you see these two children, and they're huddled together, and they seem very upset. And they make eye contact with all of you, but not approaching.
I'm starting to wonder why a town like this would keep children out in the cold like this. Brings back on welcoming memories. I approach the two children.
Okay? And the rest follow suit, or do you stay back?
Probably.
Okay. As you guys slowly approach the children, the three of you notice the two children's eyes fall on both of these two, almost like they've known them before. But you step forward. The little girl looks up at you with her doe eyes, and the little boy runs once behind her, and he's holding a cute little rag doll. And she's looking up at you. She doesn't say a word.
Hello, little lady. It is awfully cold out here. And looking at your predicament, you and I'm assuming your sibling behind you there, do you happen to know anywhere like an inn or anything? I'll be more than happy to take you there with us, get you out of this cold for at least a night.
The little girl responds to you. We don't need an inn. We have a home. We'd like to go home, but we can't. Ever since Father left our house, it's haunted. Now you see, you both pick up on the little boy with the red hair. He sort of goes behind the girl, and she looks terrified when she tells you this. And you both see the little boy is actually really scared also, and he's shaking more than just cold weather. She says this to you. You, the holy warrior, you also hear this, all of you. So that's what she says to you.
Well then, kind of turning around, Lally goes, sounds like we have a place to stay. Turn around, little lady, I tell you what, seeing how petrified you are and your sibling are, if you would invite us to your home, we'll keep you safe for tonight. We get out of the storm, y'all stay safe. What do you say?
Kind sir, that would be great, because ever since Father left, the house has just gotten scarier and scarier. But I can tell you that Nanny and her baby Walter are still in the house. But my brother Thorn and I, we won't go in until we know it's safe.
Thorn, you say?
And that's the little boy with the red hair.
Alright, little lady. Well, let's get out of this weather, because Preston Cheese are not accommodating right now. I kind of take the cloak and then kind of wrap it around her and him and say, y'all need to stay a little bit warmer. Being an adult, a little thicker in the blood. Can you point the way we can go?
Okay, make a perception roll. 7 or 9?
19.
Oh, you're perfect. The kids huddle to you, and it's almost your heartstrings tug because they're very cold, almost like ice cold. And these kids have been wandering for quite some time, and you feel this. The rest of you see your compadre, your old brother from the orphanage, sort of wrap these kids up, and it's a heartwarming sight for all of you because you remember back in the day, it was Lord Arthur Hartman that sort of did the same thing, finding you guys all on the street and taking you in. So, do you all agree to go with him and see these kids to this house?
Classic Duke.
Okay, so you guys start heading to the outskirts of town as the little girl takes her finger, shaking and pointing toward a wooded area. Our manor is just beyond the woods. It's a good 20-minute walk. And they actually get closer to you now because they're cold.
Alrighty, well, 20 minutes is 20 minutes, and I don't think staying out here any longer is good for anybody's health. What do you think?
The sooner we're indoors, the sooner you can get warm. Come on, you're with us now.
You guys agree? Everybody agree? So the party agrees to escort these kids back to their house. And what we're going to do now is we're going to take a break because I have to set up the next piece. That'll be about maybe 10 minutes, and then we'll be right back. All right, Walter. Very kind of you guys. You're being nice. Me, I'd be like, get the hell out of here.